I'm going to go through how to create automatic documentation, and that's the same process that we would use if we wanted to create a book automatically out of markup, or if we wanted to simply create a website. So I'm going to go ahead and use a Python package that's called mkdocs. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop an empty folder onto Visual Studio. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear these placeholders here. And I'm going to go ahead now and run a command that will simply install the package that I need to be able to do this. As you can see here, the name of the package is mkdocs, and it is using the material theme. Now themes are a world unto themselves, so I will not go into that. I'm simply going to go ahead and create it. Install it. And now that I have it, I'm going to go ahead and create a new site. So this is your minimal template of what you need to have a site and to be able to create automatic documentation from it. So I'm going to go ahead and enter mkdocs new, as you can see there. And as you can see there on the left-hand side, we have now a file called mkdocs.yaml. And then we have a folder that's called docs, and inside of it, something called index.md. So the markup. Now, the assumption is that you're going to create your documentation inside of a folder called docs. Now, you could have your files to be able to create a book or anything else, but this is following a certain structure. Now, all of this is configurable, but this is the default. I'm going to go ahead and take a look here at that file. And as you can see here, it just has some placeholder information about some of the commands of this package. And if we were to look at the YAML file, all it has right now at this point is just a site name. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next command that we would want. Once you start to build this, you'd most likely want to see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and enter here mkdocs serve, and it puts up a server that will let you see what your site looks like. Now at this point, the site is pretty minimal, pretty much just the index file. But if we were to navigate to port 8000, and let's go ahead and do that now, we'd see here that if we go to localhost 8000, we already have a site. Note that it has navigation on the left-hand side. It has search. If I expand the size of this window, we'd be able to see the search. There is actually something to criticize about this, that the search button doesn't appear if your window size is too small. But as you can see there, if we were to search for layout, which is what's below, we'll already get hits on it. So pretty good, considering we've only typed a couple of commands and we already have a shell or a structure that we can work in. Now, if we go back to our site, I'm going to go ahead and stop the server, and I'm simply going to show here the last step. And the last step would be to build your site. That is, take everything that you have that is dynamic, that is possibly changing repeatedly, and create a build from it. This would be an output of everything that's available. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as you can see there, it has created a new site, a new folder, and the folder is called site. And if you see inside of it, it has most of the components that you would see with a site, such as the one that I showed you. It has CSS, fonts, images, JavaScript. It has there some pages for 404s, a site map, and so on. So this is a pretty automated way in which you can create, again, documentation, but not just documentation. It can even be extended if you add additional packages to produce documentation books from Python packages. You could author certainly a book, and a number of these have been authored that way. But you get the additional benefits of being on GitHub and having all of the support and workflow type scenarios and loops, for example, pull requests and so on, that you could have on your site while being able to maintain this. Now, I plan to put this into a deployment script to try to refresh a site that I'm considering building. So it's just a quick one, just a quick walkthrough.